Hello again everyone, this is Wormkin. I've got another pro replay for you. This time we're going to be watching, it's a ZvT, Zerg player here, MaDFroG. A lot of people know who he is. He's a very, very good Zerg player on the European servers. I believe he is Swedish, to be more specific. And then down here in the bottom left corner we have Alabasta, who is also a pretty good Terran player. He's not quite nearly as famous as MaDFroG. MaDFroG was also a pretty popular Warcraft 3 player. He played the Undead when he was playing that. And Alabasta here, I believe he's a Dutch player, Terran, obviously. And so this should be a pretty good matchup. I know I cast a lot of European games, but they're, I think, fairly similar to the American games as far as like their play styles and whatnot. Because I know how like a lot of the on the Asian servers they tend to have a little bit faster games, a little more aggressive play. But I think the reason I like a lot of the European games is because because everyone knows on the American servers there's a few, as far as the really high level, there's fewer Zerg, and I think, and of course the high levels in the Asian servers there's quite a few Zerg players, and I think there's more on the European servers as well, so I do kind of like that because I do play Zerg. Not at super high levels, but not too bad. I think I'm up to like 25 or so platinum now, which is a bit of an improvement. I'm still working on it, but anyway. So this should be a pretty interesting game. I need to find something to cover up this replay bar at some point. And I kind of like how they have this new timer over here, so it actually shows the actual in-game time. So, we're at 2 minutes now, and he's walling off, and all this other stuff. So I can kind of say, what's going on at certain times, and you can kind of see the timings on certain builds and whatnot. But anyway, so it looks like a pretty standard opening here from both players. We looked like we had about a 14, we had this, I'm not exactly sure what the timing was, but, pretty standard gas. Got to gas a little bit early, so he's probably going to be using that for speed when this thing finishes up. And the sort of, one racks into the refinery for the Terran player, Alabasta. Drone's kind of getting around here, getting a little bit annoying. Looks like he got a few pot shots off on that SCV there, but no big deal. Anyway, so gonna be running around trying to keep this drone alive as much as you can. Probably try and get a few more hits off on this SCV. Might be able to kill it. I mean, it's down to about 10 hit points. I'll have to watch. So I'm gonna keep it selected there, and I'm pointing at the screen even though you can't see it. I always do that, like motioning at the screen. Anyway, so I'll just keep it selected so we can see what's going on with him. No expansion yet for MaDFroG, so he's probably gonna be going for more of an opening with a bunch of speedlings. So we've got one Marine out, so we'll probably be able to chase this drone off, and I'm getting a little bit of lag, and he's going to start himself an extractor, so he'll probably be able to sit there and cancel it, rebuild it, cancel it, rebuild it, cancel it, like a lot of Zerg players do. Looks like he's kind of over here patrolling this guy around, waiting for the expansion to come down, so I don't know if MaDFroG saw that or not. That might be why he chose not to expand and is going for more of the speedling thing. Or he's just choosing not to, and Alabasta's just waiting just in case there is something. So he looks like he did get one more hit off on the SCV, but he's not going to kill him at this point. Nice cancel there, just when it finished. It's kind of like, it's kind of funny that like the building actually looks like it finishes and then it actually doesn't. But so I'll get the production tab open. I also like these new production bars. They're really cool. So you can kind of see when something's going on. So we do have a factory coming down. Looks like it's way over here, so we just keep that away from this extractor so you wouldn't see it. Third Marine showing up, so they should be able to take this thing down now without any issues. So it looks like he did let it finish, let it just kind of hang out for a little bit longer, try and slow that gas down. So he's not that gas starved, so he should be okay. So we do have several Zerglings moving across the field. Looks like the Zerg speed is at about 75% completion, so it'll be done here in a minute. Looks like he's separating off a couple Zerglings to control these watchtowers. Only about 4 Zerglings left, so I don't think he's really going to be able to do a whole lot over here, because he does know that there's at least 3 Marines. He saw these 2 buildings, so he's probably knows there's a wall, but he's probably going to go test it off anyway. Because that's just what you do when you play Zerg. You just kind of test the wall and see what's going on, because maybe the Marines are somewhere else, so you can get a little bit of damage. And there is that lag again. That is just driving me nuts. Yeah, okay, so they didn't chase those off. So we do have the expansion up for MaDFroG, and still no other kind of tech choices yet. Still waiting for the lair, still just gathering. Looks like he pulled 2 of his drones out of gas because he didn't really need them anymore because he got his speed. So he's probably going to be focusing on producing a bunch of drones. Actually, yeah, a bunch of drones there. We do have a Hellion on the way for Alabasta, and with the tech lab. Not quite choosing to do anything with that just yet. He might be thinking on swapping it out with this, get some Banshees, or he might transition it. Okay, he's got another Hellion on the way, so he might be getting some. I don't know if what he's going to use his tech lab for just yet. He might get some siege tanks in a bit, or he might swap it. He's getting a medevac, so we might be seeing. It's pretty fast medevac, so he might be trying an early push. Well, he wouldn't be trying an early push because he'd probably have more than one barracks, so he might be trying some kind of drop with all these Hellions he's building. Which if he was trying to do that with the timing, he probably... Okay, so he does have Siegeman on the way, so he'll probably get some Siege... Okay, starting another Hellion. So he's probably going to do these 3 Hellions, and then pick those guys off and drive over here. It's kind of... You kind of need about 4 Hellions to one-shot a drone, though, so... it might be best if he... Actually, looks like he's going to take off with just 2. But I think it's 3 or 4 Hellions to one-shot a drone, so he's not quite... I actually think it's 3, so he should have could have just waited for that last one, because it is about halfway done. But I guess he wants to get this damage done as early as he possibly can. Anyway, so yeah, you should be getting a siege tank. Yep, there's the siege tank, and another factory. So we might be seeing some mech play here from the from Alabasta. Not a whole lot of drones over here at the natural yet, so he's probably not gonna get a whole lot done. We do have a roach warren on the way for MaDFroG, as well as his lair. There's the roach warren. So the dropship is on its way. It's not a whole lot of drones over here to kill just yet, so it should be, minorly effective. Queen over here is probably going to start having to chase these guys off here in a second. No Zerglings over here to try and chase these guys off yet. They're still way down here across the map. So this is going to be up to this Queen to try and take these guys out, or if the drones can get a good surround, which is like, they might get him. Yeah, okay. Okay, so he got out. So these drones are trying to get a good surround on these guys, but I mean, the drones die a little bit too quickly, so they have to get a really good surround really quickly. So we have a spine crawling away. There's some Zerglings showing up to the party trying to get a good surround on these guys. One Hellion might go down. He barely managed to say that. I didn't see how many hit points he had, but he probably only had a couple. And actually, when he drops those things, I'd like to see how many kills they have. Looks like the Zerglings kind of, hanging around over here, waiting for the Hellions to come back, but looks like they're not quite going to do it. Now, if the medevac flies past over this watchtower, which I'm not sure if it's quite in the watchtower's vision, it is, so he might be running these Zerglings back over here in just a second. Yeah, looks like he did see that. Okay, looks like the layer's also finished, not quite starting any tech from that just yet, but he's going to be running these guys over here and just see if he can get these guys, see if he can get the medevac to unload those Hellions. Which looks like he's thinking about trying to test those out, so we got 4 kills on that. Oh! Okay, so he's probably going to get those Hellions out of here. Okay, so he's going to drop them off and let them die. Horrible, painful Zergy deaths. That's kind of weird. But anyway, so, kind of sacrificing those Hellions. So, we do have some better saturation going on over here. Not quite gathering from this extractor yet, or this extractor, so he's got a couple extractors aren't doing anything yet. Let's check out the income tab. It is definitely in MaDFroG's favor, because he does have those expansions, and he was droning pretty hard. If we look at the army size, it's actually about even. So, I mean, we have a better economy for MaDFroG, and, similar sized army, but I guess a lot of that is probably drones. Yeah, I guess about 13 of that's drones, so it is a slightly better army for Alabasta here. Now, there was that nerf to siege tanks though, so the siege tanks aren't quite as good against the Zerglings, but I mean, they still do 35 damage, and I think Zerglings have 35 hit points, so they still are going to one-shot at the Zergling until the Zergling get one arm, the armor upgrade, which he doesn't even have an Evo chamber yet. But it's funny though, because so the siege tank can shoot it. If it's one siege tank shot on one Zergling, it'll have 1 hit point left if it has more armor, which, then a Marine will just one-shot it. And Marines shoot pretty fast, so it's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, but it's actually, but the big one now is that it takes 3 shots to kill a Hydrals instead of 2 like it used to, so that is a little bit nicer if you're a Zerg player, but obviously we don't see that yet, because we do have the Spire on the way, and we do have the Baneling's Nest, so he's going to be doing sort of the Baneling Muta mix, which is pretty typical that you'll see in ZvTs nowadays. So he's securing his natural and getting up a couple bunkers, kind of, trying to get this place secure. And of course, 3 siege tanks will, blow little Zergies to bits. Now that's the cool thing about Banelings though, is that they're only counted as biological, so they're still only to take 35 damage even though they aren't light, so they also don't take bonus damage from Hellions. So they're still only doing the 35 damage, and I think they have like 80 hit points. I'm not actually 100% on that, so he's probably going to be running the Zergling down here to try and see what's going on. But he's just going to get blasted by a siege tank. Yep, there it goes. So we do have the 3rd expansion, or the 3rd base up for MaDFroG. No saturation there quite yet. The income tab is still heavily in MaDFroG's favor, because we have